shut down the government over his wall and rail against unauthorized immigrants as diseased criminals and terrorists, he's apparently happy to employ them at low pay in his various properties. The New York Times has previously brought us stories of women who say they worked at the president's Bedminster Golf Club without documents and with, crucially, the knowledge of management. Now we have an even more striking example with an Ecuadorian woman named Emma Torres saying not only did she work there without authorization, the club actively helped conceal her from the Secret Service when Donald Trump was a candidate in 2016. Here with me now, attorney Annabelle Romero, who represents 5 women who say they worked at Trump's Bedminster Golf Club as undocumented immigrants, including Emma Torres. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what did the club do to conceal her from the Secret Service, according to your client?
Sure. So Emma worked there in 2016, and what she says is that there was a day where someone walked into the kitchen. She was working as a housekeeper at first, was transferred over to the kitchen. She cooked for the president, and someone asked her to put her name, her social security number on a piece of paper. Obviously, she knew that this could possibly be a problem, so she walked over to Human Resources and said, I think we have a problem. I'm undocumented. My friends are undocumented. You guys know this. What are we going to do about this? And they said, you're right. Give me the names of the people who are undocumented. We're going to strike them from the list.
So what you're saying is the management at the president's own club, when he's on the campaign in 2016, and he's running on Mexico sending rapists, on the wall, on all of the ways in which immigrants are destroying the country, is his management at his own club is actively concealing from the Secret Service the identities of unauthorized immigrants who work there.
Yes, so I represent 5 women now. I have spoken to 8 people who claim to have worked there in the past. One of my clients worked there in 2010. My client, Victorina Morales, has worked there recently until a couple of weeks ago. So apparently this is a pattern in practice. Some of them claim that management helped them obtain these fraudulent documents in order to work there. These are serious crimes, and that is why we have been calling for a federal investigation, the state investigation, and I think now with the Secret Service incident, I think congressional investigation.
I guess to argue on the other side of this, I mean, are you an immigration lawyer?
I'm an immigration attorney.
Right, so I don't think you would want the takeaway for people to be like, we need to crack down on these businesses that are employing people like my clients, right?
Well, here's the problem. It is not illegal to work in the United States, but it is illegal when an employer takes advantage of a person because they're undocumented. That's a crime. And look, we all know they're here. There are 12 million people who are here. They're good people. They're decent people. Miriam Jordan did something extraordinary for the New York Times. She got a woman to speak and come out of the shadows. She represents 12 million people in the same situation who are asking for some sort of help.
This woman who came forward and said we are tired of the abuse, the insults, the way he talks about us, this is Victorina Morales, when he knows that we are helping him make money. Do you think the president knows that?
We have no evidence, but what I could tell you is that Victorina Morales, Sandra Diaz worked in his house. They had direct contact with the First Lady, with the President. They were managed by a woman who is described by them as personal assistant to the First Lady. That is why we're asking for a federal investigation and state authorities' investigation to decide who knew.
What is it like to watch the president shut down the government over the wall, to go around talking about the grave security threat that is posed by undocumented immigrants, particularly those who are actively seeking asylum, trying to turn themselves in, while it is the case that his own business apparently habitually is violating immigration law?
Right, that is the hypocrisy here. That is why these women, what they have done is brave. They're courageous. I'm shocked the news is all over this because
it's the core premise of his entire presidency.
Exactly.
The core premise. The first thing he said was, if there's one thing I'm going to do as president is shut this down and make it hard to come here without papers.
In the case of Emma Torres, she was cooking for him. Victorina Morales, she was cleaning his toilet.
You know, there's another irony here, which is that part of the shutdown is actually shutting down the E-Verify system, which is the digital system that is used to essentially try to prevent companies from hiring folks who are undocumented.
Right, so in New Jersey it is not mandatory, but immigration courts are also shut down. My clients have not been able to appear in front of an immigration judge. There are 750,000 people right now in removal proceedings who are not going to court. So you cannot remove them from the United States while the government is shut down.
Wait, so what you're saying is the government is shut down putatively over border security and the construction of the wall. The shutdown means that you actually cannot issue an order of removal for an unauthorized immigrant who has been found violate
Yes.
the law.
And that includes criminal aliens. So on Monday, there is no immigration court all over the country, and we're sitting here waiting.
How long do you think that can go on?
As long as the shutdown is.
What is it doing to the system?
It's really a problem. It really is, because when you think about it, 750,000 people in removal proceedings. Now, there are 12 million undocumented immigrants in the United States. We all know it is impossible, virtually impossible, to remove them. That is why I think Republicans and Democrats should sit down and talk about what is the real solution here.
What would it mean if the president knew? What would it mean if he or his advisors or his family knew that they were doing this?
Well,
they were actively hiring folks who were not documented.
It is a federal crime to knowingly hire undocumented immigrants.
Annabelle Romero, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris.